YouTube is Rico, man. I'm back with another video, man. Y'all see what we got going on. We got Wicked Streets of Chicago, episode 2, the story of Tyshawn Lee. So y'all already know what time it is, man. If you're brand new to the channel or you've been watching videos on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button now if you haven't already. Also tell your family and friends about our channel. Hopefully they become supporters of the channel while we on the ground to 5K. And don't forget to also link me, goddamn, smash the like button and comment on the video, man. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. I got tongue twister and all. But make sure y'all like and comment on the video. Help the video get recommended to a larger audience of people. And yes, I'm not editing this out. Everything is real and authentic, and I don't do all that. But anyways, also too, make sure y'all turn on post notifications so you know when we upload videos, because you don't want to miss out on those. And also as well as the community tab posts, you don't want to miss out on those either. And make sure y'all also send video requests to my IG at LMERico, and we'll go on from there. But other than that, we're gonna go ahead and start this screen record because it's a long video. Definitely don't want to cause up more time than needed. And playing the video now.
Tyshawn Lee was a 9-year-old boy that was savagely gunned down in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood in the city of Chicago. To every story.
And RIP to all the fallen kids due to street violence, man. Also, another girl just got gunned down a couple days ago in a McDonald's drive-thru and shit. She was only, what, I think they said 13 or something like that. I can't remember the for sure age, so don't quote me as being correct on that. But yeah, man, it's a sad thing that's going on, man. Kids is definitely one of the biggest factors in street violence that's getting killed and stuff. So RIP to them, man. It's crazy, man. It's just too crazy, man. But let's continue on. And of course the laptop I want to freeze up right now. I don't know why it's freezing, y'all. Hold on.
There's a backstory to help you further understand why things happen. These are the stories of the wicked streets of Chicago.
The two men convicted of executing 9-year-old Tyshawn Lee will be locked up behind bars for decades.
Shantina Burpo was standing on the corner of 79th and Wood with 5 GDs when she ended up being shot in a drive-by. Taylor is a member of the Terror Dome faction of the Black P. Stones. Prosecutors allege he was seen in the front passenger seat of a dark-colored sedan that was the source of gunfire that hit Burpo as she stood with members of the Killer Ward faction of the Gangster Disciples in the 7900 block of South Wood Street. Assistant State's Attorney Jamie Santini said witnesses saw the driver lean back as Taylor raised the shotgun, pointed it in the direction of Burpo and the others, and fired. Burpo was...
And the crazy thing is, I heard about this because this happened when I was in high school. It was crazy, but I never did hear about the full details of what went down. We just already know what the news was pretty much saying was as far as a kid getting gunned down and stuff in the streets and shit like that. So that's the only thing I remember, but I don't remember the full details until this video. So I'm glad I'm reacting to this video so I can know the full details and stuff of what happened that day. But to hear this is crazy. It's real crazy, man. That just goes to show you how crazy the streets is, man. Like, the violence don't discriminate against nobody. So you could be a little kid, an elderly person, a woman. It don't matter. When violence is around the corner, it's coming, and it don't care who's in the way. So,
struck in the abdomen and died at Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oakland. Taylor, who goes by the street name Gotti, fled in the sedan. Months later, a witness came forward and identified Taylor as the shooter, Santini said. As police continued their investigation, more people started coming forward and picking Taylor out of the photo array. Tyshawn was killed November 2nd. Taylor fled to Springfield and was recently arrested there. Shantina wasn't the intended target. She was a victim of circumstances. Be that as it may, this would heighten a bloody war. On August 5th, 2015, Adarius Hayes, a member of New Money, ended up being killed on 75th and Damon. Allegedly, this was also Bang Bang Gang. Hayes was in the 7500 block of South Damon Avenue about 6 o'clock a.m. Wednesday when he was shot in the chest. Hayes was pronounced dead on the scene at 6:55 a.m., according to the medical examiner's office. On October 13th, 2015, a well-known member from the Bang Bang Gang, Black P. Stones, would end up being killed, and his mother would end up being wounded. A parolee was fatally shot on the South Side after leaving a meeting run by the Chicago police and other law enforcement officials that is intended to steer gang members out of jail, authorities said. Tracy Morgan, 25, and his mother were shot Tuesday night after she...
And this is crazy, man, hearing all of these stories, man. Like, you can never get, like, I don't know, like, how to explain it, but you can never get used to hearing shit like this, because like the way you hear these stories being told and stuff, it just like, damn, like this really happened the way it happened. It just makes these stories just real crazy to hear and unbelievable to the ears and stuff like that. But man, it's just crazy, man. Like I said, when that violence comes, it don't discriminate, and the most craziest things can happen when it comes. So this is some of this stuff is to not be unexpected at all, period.
Picked him up from the gang call-in at the Friendly Temple Church of God in Christ, located at 7745 South State Street in the Chatham neighborhood. Police think that another vehicle followed their car and that someone inside opened fire in the 8200 block of South Lafayette Avenue, about a mile from the church. Morgan was wounded in the abdomen and taken to Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oaklawn, where he was pronounced dead at 9:27 p.m., according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. His mother, 55, was treated at the hospital for a wounded arm. Detectives were investigating if Morgan, a reputed member of the Terror Dome faction of the Black P. Stone, was targeted by a rival gang member who also attended the meeting, police said. No one was in custody as of Thursday afternoon. Morgan was paroled from prison last year for a felony gun conviction, according to the Illinois Department of Corrections. Call-ins are a key strategy used by the police department in its efforts to reduce violence in Chicago. While it's still unclear if the meeting was directly connected to Morgan's death, Chicago police spokesman Anthony Guglielmi called his slaying a tragedy. A reputed member of a faction of the Gangster Disciple Street Gang, Khalil Yamin, has been charged in the deadly gang-related shooting of Tracy Morgan. After Yamin and another man killed Tracy Morgan and wounded Morgan's mother in 2015, Morgan's brother Corey sought revenge. Enraged that his brother was killed and his mama was shot as a part of a feud between rival gangs, Corey Morgan proclaimed that he was going to kill grandmas, mamas, kids, and all.
See, this just adds more backstory to behind these people that's in the streets, man, because some of these guys, they don't do this just to do it, but it's situations like this that happen that makes a person go to these lows and end up becoming a killer and stuff like that and going to jail, and everybody painting this narrative, oh, he's just a no good person and this and that, or et cetera, et cetera. But when stuff like this happens, there's no telling what limits a person will go to for people that they love, period. So his mom ended up getting shot and brother ended up getting killed. So, well, both of them ended up getting killed. So he's pretty much hurt. He hurt. So he's gonna do whatever he deemed necessary to get revenge and kind of help him cope with what happened to his family members. Even though we know for sure this ain't right, killing other people never is right. At the same time, you got to be able to feel where these people coming from, because imagine you was in their shoes and stuff. Yeah, you could say, oh, I would never commit a murder, this and that and stuff over a family. Even no matter who did what to me or my family, I would never be able to heal. But you don't necessarily know for sure until you in a situation like that. So you really can't necessarily say you would never do something like this, because you don't know what you are capable of until you are actually put in a situation like this. And some people don't necessarily just wake up and say, oh yeah, I'm a killer today. Nah, something has to happen for a person to become that way. Nobody is born to be like a killer. Nobody. So something in a person's lifetime had to happen to where they ended up becoming something like that. So y'all just gotta realize some of the things that happen in the streets, it ain't all just because they wanted to do this shit just because. It's because it's also something possibly happening behind them doing what they doing pretty much at the end of the day. So that's just to add context to some of these situations and street members and shit like that.
Tracy Morgan and wounded Morgan's mother in 2015. Morgan's brother Corey sought revenge, enraged that his brother was killed and his mama was shot as a part of a feud between rival gangs.
Well, she
Corey
wasn't
Morgan
killed, but she
proclaimed
was
that he
shot
going
like I
to
thought
kill
originally.
grandmas, mamas, kids, and all, according to prosecutors. Just a couple days later, on October 18th, 2015, Breonna Jenkins would end up being killed, and a member from New Money would end up being wounded. Unfortunately, Breonna Jenkins was at the wrong place at the wrong time. 19-year-old Breonna Jenkins was killed, and a 20-year-old man was injured in a shooting that happened about 4:25 p.m. October 18th, 2015. The two were sitting in a vehicle when a gunman walked up and opened fire, killing her and hospitalizing him. On a very nice Monday afternoon, Tyshawn Lee sat on a swing, swinging to himself, when a guy would approach him and pick up his basketball. The guy would begin to dribble his basketball and talk to him to gain trust. Shortly after, the guy would lure Tyshawn to an alley and kill him.
We believe that Tyshawn was targeted, lured to this spot, and murdered.
It would later come out that Tyshawn Lee was killed because Corey Morgan felt like the killer wore GDs had something to do with his brother being killed.
PPP loans help
And it's
small
just
businesses
crazy
get
how
back
a
on
lot of
their
this
feet.
connects
But did
together,
you know
bro.
they
Like,
also help
it's just
independent-
crazy.
And his mother being shot. Tyshawn's father, P.F. Stokes, or Woody, is most known on the streets, is a well-known member from the New Money GDs. And once the Bang Bang gang couldn't find him, they found his son. After they would find Tyshawn, they would do the unthinkable.
And I always say this, man, when you in the streets, if somebody after you and they can't get to you, they gonna get the person next closest to you. Whether it be your son, a sibling, mother, father, uncle, auntie, whoever, that's what they gonna go after. If they can't get to you, they gonna go after one of those people that's closest to you. So when you in the streets, everything you do ain't just gonna affect you. It could affect your family. So you gotta realize when you doing some of these crimes or whatever you doing in the streets that's making people that's obviously your ops against you mad, they gonna be looking to pretty much get revenge or whatever the case is against you by any means necessary. And they don't care if it's necessarily you or somebody close to you. And sometimes, even if they do get you, they still continue on and try to get other people that's known to be affiliated with you, either through the streets or as family members, etc., etc. So at the end of the day, when you're in the streets, a lot of these risks is lifetime. You could go to jail for 20 years for committing a murder against your ops, and that don't mean they gonna stop just because you in jail. Nah, they gonna try to get people that's on the outside that you close to, and when you get out of jail, if you get out of jail, they still gonna go after you. Time don't heal shit that happens in the streets. It just don't. Like I said, you can be in jail 20 years. The people on the outside that's after you ain't gonna stop. They're gonna come after you until they pretty much do what they think is enough. So, you gotta remember that.
So it's like, I don't know things. I don't know unless somebody come tell me something. So I can't be grudging something I don't know.
What happened to Tyshawn Lee took us to a new low. This wasn't a drive-by. This was not a spray of bullets. A baby was executed. A baby was assassinated right behind us in this alley.
9-year-old Tyshawn Lee was still in his school uniform when he told his grandmother that he loved her and raced across the street to a Chicago park with his basketball. 2 of 3 men accused of killing the 4th grader in a case that shocked the city will wait for him. Prosecutor Margaret Hillman said during the opening statements in their trial on Tuesday, they were armed and ready to lure the boy to his death in what Hillman said was a revenge killing meant to settle a gang feud. Defendants D. Wright Dottie and Corey Morgan are being tried together, but before separate jurors. Getaway driver Kevin Edwards pleaded guilty this month in exchange for a 25-year sentence. In August, Morgan's brother Anthony was sentenced to 4 years in prison for buying the gun used to kill Tyshawn. Hillman said Dottie and Morgan reputed members of the Black P. Stone Nation Bang Bang Gang, or BBGs, that they were looking to exact revenge for the killing of Morgan's brother and wounding of his mother 1 month earlier by members of the rival Gangster Disciples Killer Ward group. Shooting Morgan's mother was beyond the pale, Hillman said in her opening. There weren't many rules in this feud, but families were off limits. They were untouchable. Tyshawn's father, Pierre Stokes, is accused of belonging to the Killer Ward faction. Morgan's brother, Tracy, was shot and killed in a car while with their mother in October 2015, the prosecutor said. This made Morgan mad, Hillman said. He wasn't just mad, he was in the murderous.
And people gotta realize, yeah, y'all want street violence and all that to stop, but when you hear stories like this, there's no, like I said, you don't know how a person is feeling when stuff like this happens to them and what they're gonna go through and stuff mentally, physically, and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, that's why street violence will possibly never die ever. It's gonna be around probably lifelong. It's gonna be around for a very long time. It ain't really no solving this shit at all. No matter who all want peace to be peaceful and stuff everywhere and everybody just be peaceful, it will never truly happen ever. Because of stuff like this, stories like this. Like I said, you don't know what a person is going through unless you in their shoes. That's why street violence, like I said, I feel like would never just go away ever. I just don't see it happening because of stuff like this.
Rage, saying he was going to kill grandmas, mamas, kids, and whoever he could catch. Morgan and Edwards allegedly sought out to find a Killer Ward member to avenge the death, Hillman said. When they couldn't find Pierre Stokes, they found 9-year-old Tyshawn, a 4th grader who had nothing to do with any of this gang nonsense, Hillman said. In Dawes Park, Dottie approached Tyshawn and talked to him, and even played basketball to gain his trust, Hillman said. He picked up the basketball and lowered the boy to an alley as Morgan and Edwards watched from a black SUV, according to the prosecutor. D. Wright Dottie took out a .40 caliber handgun and he executed Tyshawn in broad daylight. An autopsy of Tyshawn's body showed 2 perforating gunshot wounds, and part of his right thumb was lost as a defensive wound trying to block a gunshot, according to court papers. The boy's body had a gunshot wound to the head, a bullet grazed wound to his right upper back, and a superficial wound to the right forearm.
A lot can happen with a simple share your ideas.
Yeah, man, this is
Tell
just
your
crazy
story.
hearing this, bro. Like I said, man, it may be just me, but at the end of the day, I can never get used to hearing stories like this. It's just too crazy.
The death of Tyshawn Lee will bring national attention as world leaders and entertainers will come abroad to his funeral. The funeral was hosted at Father Flager's church, St. Sabina, and he will speak out about the situation.
We have double-digit unemployment in America, and if we're part of America, then treat us like the rest of America.
It had been a long time since such tragedy had been announced coming out of Chicago, where a 9-year-old little boy got shot and it wasn't an accident, and where he was actually targeted. This was beyond sick. This was downright demonic. And the Chicago police, the mayors, the government, all type of law enforcement agencies will begin to look into the case of Tyshawn Lee. The death of Tyshawn Lee will bring a lot of attention to the neighborhood, and it will cause the cops to blanket the neighborhood and ride all day and all night. This would affect any business that was going on in the streets. Eventually, 4 people will go down in connection with the death of Tyshawn Lee: Corey Morgan, Dwight Dottie, Anthony Morgan, and getaway driver Kevin Edwards. Anthony Morgan will be convicted and given 4 years for purchasing a gun out of New Mexico. Allegedly, 5 of his guns that were purchased were found, and 3 of them had bodies on them. Kevin Edwards would cop out to a 25-year sentence. Corey Morgan will be given 65 years in prison. And Dwight Dottie, the trigger man, will be given 90 years. Within a couple of hours after charges have been publicly filed, Pierre Stokes will run into the girlfriend of Corey Morgan and her 2 nephews. Allegedly, he would open fire on them, hitting all 3 of them. They will suffer injuries from gunshot wounds, but nobody would die.
As you know, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has charged Pierre Stokes with 3 counts of aggravated battery with a firearm, 3 counts of an attempt murder, and 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon in connection with the March 8th shooting of 3 people on Chicago's South Side.
And I think that what we can learn from the story of Tyshawn Lee is this: when you in the streets, you gang banging, and you decide to pull that trigger and catch your first body, keep it in the back of your mind. When you take this life, this can possibly get your son killed, your daughter killed, your mother killed, your sister.
I said that earlier, man. When you do stuff in the streets, trust me, there's gonna be consequences behind all of that. And when those people come for revenge, they don't care who it is. They trying to get you or the people closest to you. And they don't care if they a kid, auntie, uncle, none of that. Mama, dad, none of that.
Sister killed, your brother killed, any one of your friends or loved ones. Because you never know what's on the next man's mind. You may do something to hurt somebody else. You may not be around to receive the wrath from what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And it may
And that's what I was saying about you going to jail. You be up in jail for 20 years. If they can't get you, best believe they're going to try to get the people on the outside that they can try to get to. And when you get out, that still might not even be the end. They probably still going to come after you.
Fall on someone that you may love. Also, you should further remember that once you pull that trigger, everybody that's around you and everybody that's in your gang are subject to the same rules. And their families are as well. It's not you did it, it's y'all did it. That's how it's looked at. So just know what y'all out here doing in these streets. And we have to have sense enough to leave the family members of others out of these situations. Rest in peace.
And that's how I feel
Tyshawn
too.
Lee.
R.I.P.
Condolences to the family. This has been another episode of Wicked Streets of Chicago. It's your boy, SNTV.
And that's pretty much the end of the video, man. But yeah, I always felt like family members, kids and stuff, elderly should all be left alone. Especially if they ain't even involved in anything that's going on in the streets. But at the end of the day, it's the streets. Pretty much there ain't no limits, no restrictions, no nothing when it comes to the streets. It's just that simple. But it is what it is, man. R.I.P. to Tyshawn Lee and the family members that's also been killed or stuff like that. R.I.P. to them as well. Prayers and condolences to the families. But that's the end of this video, man. If you guys enjoyed my reaction to this video and stuff like that, just make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. And I'm going to see y'all later on with more videos. Don't forget to tell your family and friends about our channel as well. Hopefully they become supporters. Also turn on post notifications so y'all know when we upload and stuff like that. You don't want to miss out. And also send video requests to my IG at LMERico. With all that being said, this is the end of the video, and I'm going to see y'all later on. Peace.